At this time, we ask that you please stand for the presentation of colors by the Topeka High Marine Color Guard.
Left, turn, march. Forward, march. Counter, march. March. Color, hold. Freeze, and colors.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
Okay, ready, colors. Ready, cut, forward, march. Right, turn, march. Forward, march.
You may be seated at this time. Thank you, cadets, for participating this evening. Let's give them a round of applause. Good evening. I'm Dr. Erin Gray, Director of Instructional Services for Topeka Public Schools, and I want to thank all of you for joining us as we celebrate our 2022 Distinguished Staff Award recipients. This is one of the highlights of the school year, and we're grateful for the opportunity to gather in person here at Bishop to recognize staff members who go above and beyond in their work each day. These individuals were nominated by their colleagues throughout the district and then selected by a committee of their peers. At this time, we would like any members of the nominating committee to please stand and be recognized. Let's give them a round of applause. The Distinguished Staff Award is considered the highest honor a staff member can receive in Topeka Public Schools. Tonight's honorees were selected for their experience, dedication to their profession, community involvement, and positive impact on Topeka Public Schools students, families, and fellow staff members. If there are any previous Distinguished Staff Award recipients here tonight, we would like for you to please stand and be recognized at this time. We would like to also give a huge thank you to Topeka Public Schools String Ensemble for providing us with beautiful music this evening, and extend our thanks and appreciation to our staff here at Bishop, our food service staff, and our district communication team for hosting and planning this event. Thank you for making this night possible. Let's give them a round of applause. At this time, I would like to introduce to you our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Tiffany Anderson.
Good evening. And no good event can occur unless there are amazing people planning it in the background. We want to thank Dr. Gray, who is a DSA winner, but also is the individual that helps kind of coordinate this entire event and the videos. His team that's taking the pictures, Miss Betty Young, who's in the room, that decorated the room, and all others who helped put this together in this facility. It's our first DSA event at Bishop. So let's give them a round of applause. As we prepare for this event, I will be preparing to turn the microphone over to our school board president, who will also be bringing greetings to you. The news asked me when I first came in why this was important and why we do this. It is really something to say that out of 2,500 staff members, that we have individuals, just 13, that are the top of their field. As I was standing in the hall and meeting different people, I was speaking to Mr. Jefferson from Jardine Middle, and he said, you know, me and my wife have 70 years in this district between the two of us, because his wife apparently is a teacher at Lowman Hill. As I saw Ms. Pomeroy come in and I saw her take her seat with her husband, I also see her mother, who's a retired teacher, who currently is subbing in her building. So her daughter is her principal. I could go on and on with the stories that I can share. Even our first year, one of our individuals in our first year category, Deandre Phillips, a student that's over there, that's a Highland Park graduate who I met my first year. He graduated the second year, and I said, here's a contract, young man, in 4 years, come back and work for us. He just got the Distinguished Staff Award for the first year teacher category. How amazing. When we talk about being distinguished, the top of your field just want to say we are so grateful for all of you. Whatever category that you landed in and whatever category you're being awarded for, we are so grateful and we thank you and congratulate you with your family and your friends. Tonight is a special event. I would be remiss because, as I said, when things like this happen, they don't just happen. There are people in the background taking care of us. And one of the DSA winners this year is Miss Phoebe Nordic, who's my communications specialist. And if you work for me, that means you're everything, like the secretary, the communications person, sometimes the co-teacher if I go teach in a classroom for the day. And we are so proud of you, Miss Nordic, and so thankful for you to be in Topeka Public Schools. So as I stop there and turn this microphone back over, celebrate this evening. They have all kinds of, it was funny doing this with the pandemic in the back of our mind because we had to be creative. So between the pre-packaged desserts and the items that have plastic over it, we ask that over the course of this hour to partake and engage and the items that are at the table, especially for you to enjoy those items that were placed on the table. Again, use tonight as a moment to just celebrate and uplift. Congratulations. Back over to you, Dr. Gray.
At this time, we're going to ask if our school board president, Mr. Munoz, will come forward. Let's give him a hand as he comes.
Thank you all for being here. I am in my first year, obviously, as a school board president, excited to be part of an organization that I grew up in. I was just talking to Mr. Jefferson. I went to school at Lafayette in East Topeka with his brother who was there. And so there's a lot of history that I have with 501. It's important to me. And I have colleagues who also are excited about this work. So I want to take a second to introduce my colleagues here. First off is Dr. Randall Schumacher. You want to stand up and just wave? Mr. Keith Tatum. Miss Alicia Schmidt. And Miss Sue Bowling. You know, every day when we walk into the boardroom, we're reminded of how important the work that we do and the individuals who help us accomplish those goals. Behind us, the board desk, is a photo of decades of school boards who have put in efforts and time to make sure 501 is an amazing place. On the side of the room, there's photos of superintendents, all the way back to the first one, including Dr. Anderson, who put in their effort, sweat and tears to make sure that the students are as successful as possible. And when we walk into the room, there's the photos of you all, DSA winners, individuals all across our district in different ways who support our students and make 501 the successful district that it is. So just know that as we and others after us walk into that boardroom and decide what decisions to make, that we'll be looking at photos of you all, and in the future, looking at individuals who give their time, their efforts, and you know, they're all to our district. And so we're so appreciative. Thank you all very much.
As we continue on with our event this evening, our musical talent has departed for this evening, but one of our DSA winners, Mr. Reynolds, pointed out that those were all Highland Park students who played music for you as you entered. While they're not in the room, we want to acknowledge them and thank them. As I call the leadership team members, I'm going to ask for them to stand so that you know who those members are. We'll start with the Deputy Superintendent, Mr. Larry Robbins. If you're in this space, will you please stand? Mr. Robbins is a Highland Ms. Lily Wallace, the Assistant Superintendent, who's over teaching and learning. We have Ms. Whiteman, who's the school board attorney, who's right next to Ms. Wallace. I don't believe Mr. Scott Gowan is in this space right now. He's the Chief Information Officer. He is behind the scenes in a room in this building, making sure all goes well and sounds well. And we want to thank Mr. Gowan, who is in the building with us today. Of course, our DSA winner, Dr. Gray, Dr. Erin Gray, who is the Director of Instructional Services. Thank you, sir. And Dr. Aaron Kipp, I'm not sure he's in the space with us this evening. Dr. Kipp is the Director of Demographics and Assessment. Those really complete all of our leadership team members who are behind the scenes making all this happen. I'll turn it back on over to Dr. Burke.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. As we move into the awards portion of the ceremony, I just want to give you a quick preview of what you can expect this evening. First, we will announce the honoree and then share a highlight video created by our communications team. After the video play, we will invite the honoree and their supervisor to come forward to accept the award. At that time, the honoree may share any comments they'd like to make and pose for a quick photo with their supervisor, Dr. Anderson, and President Munoz. This year, we have 13 honorees from 13 categories, and we're excited to celebrate them all. Our first honoree, we're going to call Dr. Anderson back because this honoree is the best honoree that they're going to honor. Dr. Anderson.
Thank you, Dr. Gray. And if you're looking at your agenda, you know that first honoree is Dr. Erin Gray. And so I'm going to stop for a moment as they prepare and show the videos, share a few comments. In general, the videos will show, and when our awardees come up, they'll come up and get their award, and both the president and I will be shaking their hand as they come across this space. In Dr. Gray's case, I will also make some comments because it says Director of Instructional Services, but that really means a whole lot of other things. It means he became the COVID response person when COVID was occurring. He managed 14 vaccination clinics. He's also the person that helps manage the web page, the videos, planning events. It really encompasses everything and anything. And he does it with a yes ma'am and yes sir and a smile. He's quite an incredible person, so it's wonderful to be celebrating him this evening. I'm going to turn it over to communications to begin his video.
Dr. Erin Gray is our Director of Instructional Services, and he manages so much across the district. He supports us with our clergy, and he attends those events. He manages over 100 partnerships. He helps plan our graduation ceremonies, and he has supported over 13 vaccination clinics. That means he's helped with changing health outcomes for families across this district. Dr. Gray is responsible for our webpage maintenance, our communication with our partners, our newsletters. He has an incredible communications team that between the communications team and Dr. Gray, they are really kind of the core of what Topeka Public Schools is all about in regards to engaging, preparing, and inspiring. He gives that message each and every day. I'm going to start today at hands because he's all hands on deck. Dr. Gray is an exceptional leader. He really is Director of Instructional Services, but he's more than that. He's a team player and a contributor to ensuring that the success for every student occurs, regardless of their zip code. So at times, you're going to see Dr. Gray behind a camera, and another time you're going to see Dr. Gray doing a home visit or supporting kids in the classroom. He is truly a distinguished staff member. Congratulations, Dr. Gray.
Award for the District Administrator of the Year, the distinguished staff member for that category. Again, sir, we celebrate you and congratulations. I'm going to ask Mr. Munoz to come forward. Now you can tell Dr. Gray has put this together.
Yes.
Tell me what I'm supposed to do, Dr. Gray.
Yes.
He was telling me this is how it goes. Come here, stand here, stand here. So when I said, tell me what to do, it's literally choreographing all of the events. Let's give him another round of applause.
Thank you so much. And also, we are giving the honorees an opportunity to share a few words. And I'm going to share a few words. I would like to humbly express my gratitude and appreciation for being selected for the highest award given in Topeka Public Schools, the Distinguished Staff Award. Throughout my career, I've had the opportunity to receive numerous awards because of amazing people who have come before me and worked alongside me each day. Having received this award, knowing all too well the many administrators that give selflessly of themselves daily with a tireless commitment to the mission and vision of Topeka Public Schools, make it even more special. 12 years ago, when I came to Topeka, my sights were set on USD 501, the district that embodied my why, to prepare, to engage, and to inspire a lifetime of excellence. 5 years ago, I was given that opportunity by our amazing leader, Dr. Tiffany Anderson, to serve as the proud principal of Randolph. Since that time, I've had an opportunity to further grow and develop at the central office level. I've been blessed to observe servant leadership up close, see lives change through the power of love and action, experience the bleeding hearts of school administrators who truly want what's best for all students, and work alongside community partners who believe in the transforming power of team. Thank you for recognizing the hard work and dedication of all TPS staff. Most importantly, thank you for allowing me to be among those who will forever say that Topeka Public Schools made me a better person and educator because of the standard of excellence that has been modeled before me. Thank you. At this time, our next honoree is in the middle school educator category, and that is Ms. Brenda Lachlan of Robinson Middle School.
So today we're here to talk about Brenda Lachlan. She is our BASER, Behavior and Academic Support Room teacher, and she deals with the students that have emotional disturbance or behavior disorders, and so she helps them throughout their day be successful. Ms. Blackman works tirelessly to make sure that the students have everything they need. A lot of times when students need to see her, they're not emotionally regulated, so she needs to give them the time and the space to make good choices and focus on their academics, and so she's able to do that. She communicates really well with the families that depend on her to make sure that their students are successful at Robinson Middle School. And then she also takes on so many other duties. So I think all of the extra stuff that she does. So total, her caseload can range from 8 to 15 students out of the 370 students that we have. But she goes above and beyond to ensure that all 370 students at Robinson are receiving the best we have to offer. She goes above and beyond to make sure that she is servicing the entire Robinson community, whether it be the students in the building or outside of the building. And so I think that for a person who has the opportunity to kind of isolate and just work with the students who are assigned to her, that she goes above and beyond to make sure that the entire community is better for having her in it.
Ms. Blackman and Mr. Blacker, please come forward. Let's give this guy a round of applause. Thank you so much, Ms. Blackman. Our next honoree is in the paraprofessional category, Ms. Candelera Gonzalez of Topeka High School.
She has extraordinary impact on all of our Spanish-speaking families, on our English language learners, our newcomer ELLs, basically crowd around her as their safety and support. And she sees them through all the academic challenges of being newcomers and the challenges of going to high school where English is your second language. But beyond that, really, she's our support in a number of different classes, even for our more advanced skills. And she's the person that the staff turn to when we need to do calls home to Spanish-speaking families. So she's really our interface there. She also does amazing work in terms of interfacing with our social workers, with our assistant principals, counselors. A lot of times she's the first person to know about some pretty serious student needs. And so she works with teachers, with social workers to communicate those needs and make sure that students are supported. So she has her specific role as a bilingual peer educator in terms of classroom support, which she does amazingly. But even beyond those specific classroom responsibilities, she really has a school-wide impact as someone who has really helped to make our school a welcoming place.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, yes.
Okay, right here, 3, 2.
Thank you.
Do you want to say any words?
I want to thank everyone for this.
Spanish?
Yes,
Speak English?
oh, I want to thank everyone for this award. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart and with my coworker. I have been enjoying working in your classroom. I have learned a lot from Mr. Wrigley and Mr. Anderson, a bunch of other staff. Working at Topeka High School is like working with family. Every day you feel that vibe where you're there to learn, you're there to go see your aunts and uncles. So I love working at Topeka High School. So if you want your kid to graduate and succeed, send them to Topeka High. Recibir este reconocimiento y me encanta trabajar en el salón con Mr. Wrigley, Mr. Anderson y muchos más. Y trabajando en Topeka High es como si estás trabajando con familia, con tus tías, tus tíos. Es que si quieren que sus hijos se reciban, mándalos a Topeka High. Los esperamos.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gonzalez, for the work you do in the classroom each day. Our next honoree is in the food service category, Ms. Maria Gonzalez of Eisenhower Middle School.
Maria is our kitchen manager. She runs the kitchen. She's got 5 or 6 staff that work under her, and she is very effective at it. Not only as a supervisor, but she also gets right in there and does the job with them. So, it's kind of a balance you have to be. Yes, you're a supervisor, but you're still part of the kitchen staff and doing the same things they do. And I think she does a great job with it. And when it comes to the kitchen, I don't worry about anything. I know she's got it. She communicates with me on personnel matters. And I think the thing that makes Maria stand out is everything she does is for the kids. I think she's a prime example of, in order to make a school function properly, you gotta have effective teachers, kitchen staff, paras, office staff, everybody, bus drivers. And I think she's an example of that. She, along with her staff, they show that, you may just be preparing food for the kids, but you're also providing service to those kids. You're helping those kids. Everything that she does is about the kids. And I think that's what we need in all of education. It's always should be for the kids.
You want your son to come on up for the photo too?
Her son's a T West graduate, and he's a police officer, so.
Yes, thank you. And this goes for all the child nutrition department. Yes, thank you so much.
Our next honoree is in the custodial category, Mr. Arthur Jefferson of Jordan Island Middle School.
I'm here to talk about Art Jefferson, who is my building operator. You know, he's been in the district for 38 years, and he's served in many different capacities, whether it was painting, carpentry, he was a driver, building operator. He even taught for the district for a short time as well. He's just done it all. So for a guy who, he's in our district not because it's a job, it's his passion. He has a heart for serving others, and he comes to work every day knowing that I'm here to serve. And that makes his job meaningful for him, and it makes us impacted on a very positive note, whether it's my staff, family, community, the most important thing is students. Art kind of mimics my philosophy when it comes to working with children and working in our district. It's not a job, so his mindset, it's his mission. It's his mission to serve. And so every day he comes to school to serve, and you can see him having conversations with kids at times. But every day when you hear like Art Jefferson on the radio, and his response is always like, I'm ready to serve, or at your service. I mean, those are his remarks every day. That philosophy in itself, to have that mindset come to work every day, just sets the tone for everybody.
There's so much I can say.
Someone started not talking behind the
I don't even know where to start. My father was a pastor of a church, and he always said, I won't be long, but you know how that works. but in all of my time, the things I remember are so many good people that I have met. I met so many good people and friends. Some are board members, and I paint for the several superintendents and principals and teachers. I've done pretty much most jobs you can imagine in 501. I just enjoy the people, and when you get to work with students, be a role model, and they're role models to us too. And even we may say, I'm not a teacher, but yes, you are. And you're a role model. Kids are watching everything we do. That's the one thing I remember that I think about every day. The kids are watching. The kids are watching you. Yeah, I can worry about what Mr. Harris is watching, but the kids are watching. So I enjoy working with the kids. I enjoy going home saying, okay, I hope someone learned something from the way I was today. I want to say this real quick. I remember there were bad things and good things. One of the bad things, I was standing in the library at Lafayette School. I think Scott Madden is built there now. And the space shuttle went up with a teacher on it. And we all know what happened there. That's one of the things I look back, way back in 501. And Mr. Munoz may have been there. I found out today he was at Lafayette at the same time I was there paying in school. But there are also good things. The Berlin Wall came down while I was working at 501. There are so many. The good things, I try to focus on the good. And the good thing is that I'm in the 501 family. Thank you, Mr. Harris.
Our next honoree is in the high school educator category, Ms. Claire Quan of Topeka High.
Ms. Kwan is not the traditional math teacher. She spent a number of years not in the profession, came back into it just about a decade ago, and she is someone who really keeps students at the center of attention. I think being a parent, she really sees the whole student and the need to help more than just math. Sometimes the content kind of becomes the most important thing, and Claire does a really nice job of balancing the content she teaches along with knowing her students as people and wanting them to do better as people. Claire's always been a leader. She can teach anything from Algebra 1, so an entrance level class with freshmen, all the way up to college placement courses, and she is able to teach those for dual credit, so she can coordinate and work with students at all levels, which is kind of a rare talent. She believes kids can, and I think too often, having taught math myself, I really appreciate the fact that kids are scared of math when they come around, and they often have a preconceived notion that they can't do it. She's really able to let students know they can. She shares why maybe they're having challenges, and she then helps them kind of devise and plan a strategy for how they'll be better. So I think just being someone who always strives to be better herself for her students is something I want to model myself after and make my peers do as well.
As Ms. Morrissey alluded to, this is my third career. I was an acoustical engineer for a while after college, and then I was a stay-at-home mom. And I will say the first career I had was the most glamorous. I got to travel and meet famous musicians and do all sorts of things that I had been dreaming about. But I really found that that was not as satisfying as I thought it would be on a daily basis. So obviously being a stay-at-home mom was also not so glamorous, but very rewarding in a lot of ways, but also not something I could do forever. So now I found my way back to teaching, and I really think this is what I was meant to be doing all along. So this is my 7th year at Topeka High, and I feel like I've been able to make strides quickly because of all the people around me. So it's very humbling. I appreciate the recognition. Thank you for that. But it is humbling because I work with so many tremendous educators and other staff in the building. I really want to thank some folks that aren't here. So the veteran teachers in my math department and the administrators in my building who have supported me and mentored me. I've been able to work with colleagues from other departments on some of the committees that I serve on, and colleagues from other schools on some of the committees that I serve on. But I really have some amazing colleagues in the math department, especially the Algebra 1 team. I have to give a shout out to my squad. There's 4 or 5 of us that eat lunch together every day, and we actually managed to not talk about math for 30 minutes. So that's kind of an accomplishment. But I also want to thank the people who are came with me tonight. My mother, Linda, who was my first teacher, right? Our parents are our first teachers. She thought she was retiring to Kansas, but she's now basically a chauffeur for 2 of her 6 grandchildren. My husband, Derek, works at KU in the Lead Center, and I will not say that I model my teaching after him because he's not very patient, but he is a tremendous leader and very professional in everything that he does and very generous with his time. And so I've learned so much from watching him and his career and try to apply it to my own. And my 2 children, Julie and Toby, because they make my job as a parent very easy, so that allows me to do what I do. They waited 2 years to get a pet because I told them they had to wait till I finished my first year teaching. And now they share me with 132 other students every day. So I love you all. Thank you.
next honoree is in the first year elementary teacher category. Ms. Giovanna Mendez of Whitson Elementary.
I am here to talk about Gigi Mendez, who is our first year teacher, Distinguished Staff Award winner. She just has a very calm yet inviting personality that just draws you in, and I could tell from the minute we first spoke that she would fit right into the Whitson family and would be exactly what our students would need. Coming into 5th grade in the Spanish enrichment program, I think Gigi has shined through her first year experience by kind of setting the bar so much higher for her kids and seeing and connecting and making a relationship so the kids can rise to that, high level of expectation. She has students who are so academically ready to perform and have such skill and knowledge and to push those kids even further, and she's been able to do that, which is amazing for a first year teacher, but also being able to really connect to the students who may struggle and reach them at a level that still makes them want to work harder and increase their level of learning. I'm just so proud of you, Gigi, and keep on doing all the things you're doing because you have made an amazing impact on Whitson, your class, and all of us.
I just want to give a big thank you to my family and my friends and my Whitson family. I definitely could not be where I am without them. This year has been challenging, as we all know, it's hard to teach in a pandemic, but they have really made the transition a lot easier and have welcomed me into their little family and have made me feel comfortable and safe there. So I just want to say a big thank you to all the people who have made this possible. Thank you so much.
Wow, we have some amazing educators in our district. Our next honoree is in the classified support staff category. My favorite is Phoebe Nordic of Central Office.
Here to talk about Miss Phoebe Nordic. She is just a sweet individual who has been with me for much of my 6 years in Topeka Public Schools. Okay, so when Ms. Nordic started, we called the job communications specialist, but let me share with you, she not only works with a lot of things that deal with communications and helps with the team on the communications team and lends a hand where needed, but she also manages my student groups that I have. She literally is willing to do whatever's asked of her. And in my world, if you're supporting me, who knows? Sometimes we're actually literally teaching kindergarten together, and she just gets her backpack of supplies and walks right alongside me. Everyone needs a Phoebe Nordic to kind of be by their side to help them with any and everything. She not only helps serve in ways that she needs to within her role for me and serves outside of her role, but she helps everyone across the district. She assisted Ms. Johnson-Betts and Mrs. Bailey in various ways with their programs and with the foundation that touches every teacher. Some teachers, I've learned, reach out to her directly to help with items in their classroom. So Ms. Nordic is just a wonderful person, and I feel so privileged to have her as a communications specialist. She is certainly a distinguished staff member, and I want to say congratulations.
did you want to come into the fall?
Of course.
Did you want to join, or are you okay?
I just want to say thank you to my nominators and to all of my letter writers and my Pod A people who support me in all of the background stuff. I can't do it alone. She's a one-man show, but she needs our support too. And unlike kids, it takes a village. So thank you, Dr. Anderson, for all of the work that you do and the priority to put the kids first. It does mean a lot, and I have to say, of all the careers I've had, working in 501 is probably the most rewarding, knowing that you're there for the kids, helping them get through what they need to do, even if you're not in the classroom.
Our next honoree is in the elementary educator category. It's Lindsay Pekarik of Meadows Elementary.
She is our kindergarten teacher, and she has been a kindergarten teacher for our school district for many years. She is an amazing individual. She is everything that embodies what it is to be a kindergarten teacher. She's got that loving, nurturing environment with such rigor and expectations that kids become learners in her space, and they love and want to come back and be with her. She also is an amazing mentor. And she not only serves Meadows, but she serves Topeka Public Schools. She's mentored first-year teachers, student teachers, and helped them become outstanding professionals. She also has been a Kagan model classroom where teachers from across the district have come to observe and learn from her and how she instructs and uses cooperative learning within a classroom of kindergartners. She really has always had an open door to welcome anyone who's wanting to learn and grow and just supports our profession and all of our school districts. So she is far and above your average teacher, without a doubt. She's distinguished.
Thank you, and I'm so proud of you guys for saying my name right. I heard about some lessons, but I wanted to thank 501, the board, and Meadows. And like Nicole often says, Meadows is like a family, and they truly are. I'm gonna look at my phone because I don't want to forget anything, but I'm just lucky I get to show up and do a job I love. And without support from people like Nicole and other people at Meadows, I wouldn't be here. And I want to thank my family. And I know my mom's over there running after my little one, but thank you. I just wanted to end with my favorite quote. Teachers who love teaching teach children to love learning. And even though this is a very difficult profession, I do it because I love the kids. So thank you, everybody.
Our next honoree is in the first-year secondary teacher category. Mr. Deandre Phillips of Eisenhower Middle School.
Deandre is he's a hometown product. He graduated from Topeka Public Schools, Highland Park. He's familiar with our students, and I think it's great that he just wants to give back to the community. Coming in as a new teacher, he's fearless. I mean, he just comes in and he's got all these plans. He's got procedures on how he handles classroom management. When it comes to instruction, he's always willing to try new things. He's willing to learn. He's in the Army Reserves, and he's had to go on duty a few times. And I think that honestly, I feel like the lessons he's learned through being in the military has probably helped him in the classroom. And I think it's gotten kids interested in that too. Speaking with him, I know he's been through some difficult things to overcome in his personal life. And just his perseverance to never let anything hold him back. And he gets that point across to everybody he encounters. And I think that's one of the things that really makes him an effective teacher and leader with what he's doing.
Sports almost made me cry. All right. Can you hear me all good?
Yes.
So I didn't write any speech tonight, but I just want to say thank you to everyone who nominated me and everyone who supported me, which includes my mentors. Many of my mentors are in this building right now. And kind of like Mr. Swartz said, I've been a product of 501 from elementary school all the way up to high school. So thank you all, and I really am appreciative of encountering each and every one of you, because I've learned something from each person in this room that I've met, whether that is to just be a kind person to others or to really understand what leadership is and how to model it for my students. I always share this story because I want people to understand why I'm here in 501. Originally, when I decided to be a teacher, I wasn't sure what subject I wanted to go into. And so I chose math as my subject because I had the belief that that was my weakest subject. And I wanted to prove to myself that I can actually do it. And so, after going through college and actually getting the math degree, I've made it my mission so far to teach every student in my classroom that they can learn and they will learn in my environment. And the students are really the biggest motivation for this career that we have. It doesn't feel like a job at all. And the last people I want to thank is my mentor at Eisenhower Middle School, Miss Lauren Ferguson. I know if it wasn't for her and the entire math department, I just would have no idea as a first-year teacher how much work goes into this profession. So thank you all so much, and I'm going to be here for a couple of years, probably a decade or a few.
Phillips, thank you for inspiring greatness in all of us. Our next honoree is in the building leader category, Miss Angela Pomeroy of Jordan Elementary.
Ms. Pomeroy is an exceptional leader. She is able to build systems that are really able to move students forward academically. And that is anything from the PLC process and sitting down with teachers and doing the instructional planning, working with her instructional coach to support school initiatives. She takes that on, and she not only participates in the PLC process, but she takes groups of students and she co-teaches right along with her teachers. She is a problem solver. She loves a good challenge, and she will work with her team to come up with good proactive solutions that then become systems that really other schools should and can replicate. She's modeling for her assistant principals and growing future leaders for Topeka Public Schools. Mrs. Pomeroy would tell you that this really is a recognition of all the efforts of the staff and students at Jardine Elementary. Yes, she's the leader, but she'll be quick to tell you that all of the people at Jardine work together to move the school and increase student achievement.
Need an opportunity to talk to a microphone. Nobody told me to direct a speech, so you did that on purpose. I know she sees. I don't like to miss a chance to talk. I do want to say thank you, and that was very kind, Ms. Sharp. A couple of people that I want to thank. Obviously, Dr. Anderson mentioned my mom. So my first mentor, retired teacher, she was a principal. I really am her mini, but my passion for teaching and learning came from her. She was my first mentor, and this ridiculous work ethic that I have was instilled by her. Like, that's where that started. I want to thank my husband when he encouraged me all those years ago to go back and go back to school to do this. I'm not sure he knew what that actually meant. So, you know, putting up with the at-home side, but he really is the person that keeps me balanced. We always talk about, you know, unplugging and spending time with family, and he's the one that makes sure that I don't spend all my time at school and that I stay hooked up with family and not missing any of those moments too, so super thankful for him. But I've been in Topeka Public Schools 20 years. I came here my 7th or 8th year of teaching. Started at McCarter as a teacher, never had a plan to be here. So I taught for about 16 years, and then I've had so many leaders invest in me, and there's so many of them are in this room. You know, whether it was Miss Wallace that said, I really think you'd be a great instructional coach. Why don't you do that at the middle school for a while? Okay. And then I got to work for Miss Hoffman and Miss Morrissey, who are in this room, and you know, Miss Hoffman, Miss Morrissey, and Miss Wallace were the ones that said, hey, we're gonna have this thing called Leadership Academy. We're gonna start this up, we're gonna have our first Leadership Academy. You should really do that. And I did. And so just, I guess all of that to say, and then Dr. Anderson came, and then I was the AP at Landon, and then they put me here at Bishop, and I closed Bishop, and then the Board of Education and Dr. Anderson and all of the other people of leadership decided to give me that great big building over there at Jardine to open. All by myself when I'd only been an administrator for a year. They knew they had to do that because I didn't know what that meant to close the school and open a school. So they needed me to be naive, I feel like, in that moment to survive that. So all of that to say that I have been invested in from the time I walked in the doors in Topeka Public Schools. So every administrator, every mentor, every principal, every colleague has invested in me along the way. That's why I'm here. Somebody saw something in me and encouraged me, and then that's how this happens. And so it is my mission every day to invest, to build the capacity of my team, to build the capacity of my school, to see that in others, and continue to grow them. That's why I'm here. Just to make sure, as I get on the backside of my career, that I have to leave behind that same legacy that was laid before with me to get me here. So my staff is the best around, hands down. I love them. You can't be great if you don't surround yourself with great people. If you don't learn from great people, you don't want to be the smartest in the room. That's not how you learn. So I have been fortunate to work with great, be surrounded by great, learn from great, and that's what brings greatness and just love and passion. So that's why I do this. So I am super thankful for Topeka Public Schools. Like, that is why I'm here. You don't do this in a silo. So I appreciate this award, but it just is so much more than that. So thank you.
speaking of great people, we have two more great people to honor tonight. And the next honoree is in the Certified Support Staff category, Mr. Christian Reynolds of Highland Park High School.
Chris is a band teacher at Highland Park High School, and probably about 5 years ago, he applied, or we approached him to be the consulting teacher for fine arts. Mr. Reynolds struck me as someone who was very passionate about music in particular, and wants all students to have the opportunity and experience of the fine arts during their education. He loves music. Another little tidbit about Mr. Reynolds is that he was part of the military band for years and was part of our military service. It's always fun to watch people who go from the classroom into a broader position and just kind of eyes wide open and all of the things that are involved in education, kind of on the back end that people don't see. He has inspired me to look at fine arts differently and to have a greater appreciation for them and place more importance on them in our curriculum. One of the things that stands out most, I think, about Mr. Reynolds is that he really embodies the Topeka Public School mission to engage, prepare, and inspire. And I think he does that daily in his job with students and with staff.
Like with Angela, I don't pass up the microphone. It's, as an entertainer, that's something I do. I thank you, Dr. Anderson. Thank you, members of the board. Thank you, Mrs. Wallace, for the great words. I'm in a lucky position because as a consulting teacher, I get to keep my foot in the door as an educator, but I also get to help people along the way. I don't know if anybody noticed the picture of Deandre up on the wall. Deandre and I actually got to be in band together. It's been a great experience to have students like him along. And then Art and I, the other day, were just reminiscing about when we were at State Street. We used to do a band during Christmas time for the kids to do Christmas carols. So it's always great to see people in a room. As a consulting teacher, it's fun to be with students. But I get to work with 87 staff members every day that bring theater, music, and visual arts to our students. And that's really a wonderful job too. Without them, my job would really be nothing. They're the ones that make what I do very easy. My job is pretty easy because of the teachers that I work with. So thank you guys, thank you Billy, thank you Dr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. And we saved our best for last. Our final honoree for this evening is in the office personnel category, Ms. Jenny Steele of McClure Elementary.
I'm here to talk about Jeannie Still, who is the administrative assistant at McClure. Jeannie is one in a million. She is probably one of the hardest workers I know. She has been a blessing for me my first year as a principal. She is one of those people who I just view her as an encyclopedia of all things regarding McClure and Topeka Public Schools. She is so skilled at her job. She knows the ins and outs of everything she does, but she's also the type of person who just goes the extra mile to ensure that the quality of work that she delivers is exemplary. Jeannie does things because she wants to do them well. She wants to work hard. She is her toughest critic and always wants to just deliver, like I said, to the best of her ability, and she doesn't stop until she is proud of her work. Jeannie and I, we have spent so many days just just her and I in the office preparing for the start of the school year on snow days. And not only is she just a wonderful representation of a distinguished staff member, she's just, like I said, such a fun person to talk to. Her and I have shared many, many laughs over this past year, and she's been nothing but a blessing for me this past year. And I'm really grateful that I had the opportunity to work with her.
Dr. Gordon, are you going to join since you just retired last year, ma'am? He gets surrounded by two principals.
I just want to say that I'm honored and humbled to receive this award. I want to thank Peg Davis for nominating me, and Carol Morgan and Chelsea Archer for writing the letters for me. I am a Highland Park graduate. My 3 children went to Highland Park also, and my oldest daughter was homecoming queen at Highland Park. So we've been in 501 a long time. I did start out with Dr. Gordon. I helped her close Clinton Heights School, Lynn Elementary, and then Avondale East. After that, I went to Sheldon, and a lot of people were asking, are you going to close Sheldon? I said, not that I know of. So I haven't closed any other schools. So I worked with Dr. Gordon many years, and then she retired at the end of last school year. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that's been in my life, okay?
As we conclude the 2022 Distinguished Staff Awards, again, we want to congratulate all of our honorees. This is a great honor for all of you and a moment in your career that you will reflect on when you think about the impact you have made on the students, families, and staff here at Topeka Public Schools and on the Topeka community as a whole. Please join me in one more round of applause for this year's winners. Honorees, before you leave tonight, please stop and pick up your plaque, which is yours to hang on to for next year. The plaques are over here. You will then pass it forward to another winner next year after you serve on the 2023 DSA nominating committee. And before I say finally good night to you guys, I want to ask our superintendent, does she want to say, Dr. Anderson?
First of all, again, we just congratulate all of you. On your tables, what may have already been shared are your photos, the flowers. You can take those with you. Can they take the vases? No. You can take the picture, and you can take some of the flowers as well. The plaques, of course, are hung in your building or in your school. And again, we just congratulate you and thank our MC, who's also one of the recipients, for making sure that we have the kind of ceremony that is befitting of a distinguished staff. So again, congratulations and good evening.
Anyone that would like to take pictures, you're free to come over against the background and do so.